What if the NHL consisted of international teams only? How differently would the league pan out? Well, we are going to be finding that out here in NHL 24, as I have removed every single team from the NHL, replaced them all with international teams, and a few garbage teams from Europe, just because there's only, I think, 22 international teams in this game. And we are going to simulate 5 full seasons, see who goes on and wins the Stanley Cup, see who takes home the individual awards, and see who dominates hockey at the international level. Now let's go ahead and see every single team that I added to the NHL here in NHL 24. Now, if we take a look at the NHL, we have the big guns in Canada, USA, France, Great Britain is there, Czechia, Denmark, Slovakia, Norway, Germany. You get the point. We have every single international team that is in the game in the NHL right now, and then we threw in a bunch of European hockey teams that are not very good, just to make sure we fit the 32 team limit that you have to have here in season mode. And we're just gonna go ahead and see who dominates. Then we did do this in 23, and I can't really remember. I think Canada did dominate, but I mean, it could be a totally different story here in 24. So before we go ahead and simulate, if you guys do enjoy videos like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on notifications so you get notified when I go live or when I post a video. Now, the Stanley Cup Finals do start tonight, so let me know in the comments below who you guys think is going to take Lord Stanley home, Edmonton or Florida. Personally, I have Oilers in 6. Now, by the time you're seeing this, Game 1 would have already happened, so I have no idea who ends up winning that, but at the end of the day, I do believe in Oilers in 6 till the end of the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, at the end of season number 1, Team Sweden will actually have the best record, winning 77 games, losing 3 and 2 in overtime. That is most likely because we have a lot of garbage teams in this league. At the bottom will be a bunch of European hockey clubs. Regardless, USA came in second with 76 wins. Canada only won 73 games. Low-key kind of surprised about that. Finland was good. Czechia was up there with 69. And Team Germany with Timmy Stu, Leon Draisaitl, and Mo Seider won 65 games. And now if we take a look at the bottom of the NHL, Team Japan only won 8 games on the season, losing 72 in regulation. Has to be tough. Poland was bad. Ukraine, Korea, Kazakhstan, and Italy. As Kyle Connor is going to light up the NHL, leading in scoring with 148 points, followed by McDavid, who had 144. Cale Makar was up there, 141. A monster season by him. McKinnon had 138. Kachuk had a good year. Pasternak was up there. Matthews, of course, was scoring goal per game, nearly 80 goals. Speaking of it, of course, he will lead with 80. Pasternak had 73. McDavid had 70. Kyle Connor was up there. Draisaitl 59. McKinnon 58. And Braden Point, who had 56. If we take a look at defensemen, Makar will dominate, 41 points ahead of Roman Josi, who came in second place, followed by Quinn Hughes, who had 97. Adam Fox had 91. McAvoy 91. And Dahlin 80. And for goalies, Linus Ullmark's going to lead in wins with 62, followed by Hellbuck, who had 58. And Vejmelka, who would end up having 56. And for shutouts, Connor Hellebuyck had 27 shutouts on the season. Binnington 24, Allmark 20, Vejmelka 16, and Saro 16. Holy hell. And this is what our year number 1 Stanley Cup playoff bracket currently looks like. I evenly spread out the best teams from east to west, so we're not going to have Canada and USA in the first or second round. Now, all we have to do is see who will go on and take home the Stanley Cup, or even make the Stanley Cup Finals. And in the Stanley Cup Finals, we have Team Sweden up against Team USA. Sweden did beat Canada in 7 games in the conference finals, while USA kind of dominated Finland in 5. But who is going to go on in year number 1 and take home the Stanley Cup? And at the end of year number 1, Team USA will go all the way, beating Sweden in the finals, sweeping them in the process. They were not even close to being competitive with the Americans, as Austin Matthews will lead a team finally to a title. Not going to be Toronto because he's a glorified playoff choker. But here in year number 1, on an absolutely stacked roster in Team USA, they're going to go on and capture the Stanley Cup, as Matthews will win the Conn Smythe, 18 goals, 27 points, as the Americans were really too much for pretty much anybody. I believe Canada would have had a better shot at beating them other than Sweden, but we gave that up in the conference finals in Game 7, as there it is, the Stanley Cup waiting to be presented to the year number 1 champions in Team USA. The lovely Americans ready to take home that Stanley Cup. Here comes their captain, Joe Pavelski, the man who literally just got sent into retirement by the Oilers. But luckily for him, he's going to be able to grab a Stanley Cup before he goes, as USA has won it all in year number 1. Now for the entire postseason, Matthews will have the most goals at 18 and the most points at 27, followed by Kyle Connor, who had 23. Pettersson was up there with 21. Jack Hughes had a good playoff run. McDavid had 18 points in 16 games. Nylander had 19. Kyle Connor will take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy, while the Maurice Richard will go to Matthews, the Norris to Cale Makar, obviously the Conn Smythe to Matthews as well, as Linus Ullmark is going to take home the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Sasha Barkov. As we now head to season number 2, after seeing the Americans win it all, can they go back-to-back or will be they 8? And now after seeing the Americans win it all in season number 1, we are off to year number 2, seeing if they can go back-to-back or will a new international team like Canada or Finland upset them here in season number 2. Now at the end of the second season, the defending champions in Team USA was first in the league, winning 77 games, followed by Canada, who won 76. Finland was up there. Sweden took a small step back, only winning 73 games. Czechia 73 as well. Germany was up there. Switzerland and Denmark at the bottom. If we take a look, Team Japan did better than last season, winning 12 games instead of 8. Poland was pretty bad. Korea, Italy, and Kazakhstan, not really the natural hockey markets, not really your average hockey markets, but you never really know. Germany wasn't a hockey market either, and then Leon Draisaitl came along. As the defenseman, Cale Makar is going to lead the league in scoring with 150 points, followed by McDavid, who had 140. Kachuk was up there, 100 assists for him. Pasta had 136. McKinnon 136. Kyle Connor was good. Draisaitl was always going to be up here, 61 goals, 130 points. Speaking of the goals, McDavid will tie with Pasta for the lead at 75, followed by Austin Matthews, who had 72, Kyle Connor 64, Draisaitl 61, and McKinnon 54 for defenseman. Makar will dominate. I mean, he had a 52-goal season as a defenseman, also 150 points. Josi had 108. Heiskanen had 102 with only 14 goals. Connor Hellebuyck's going to have the most wins at 62, followed by 60 by Vejmelka. Binnington had 56 and Saros 54. And on the shutout side, Jordan Binnington will lead with 21 on the season. Not as good as the 27 that Hellebuyck had last year, I believe. Ullmark had 16, Hellebuyck only 15 this year, Saros 15, and Grubauer 12. As here we go yet again, this is our year number 2 Stanley Cup playoff matchups. And in the Stanley Cup final, we have the ultimate rivalry of all rivalries in Canada versus USA. Dating back a long time, these two teams have gone head-to-head at each other during international play, but here they are in the Stanley Cup Finals, 7-game series. Who's going to take home the Stanley Cup at the end of season number 2? Team Canada will end up pulling off the biggest comeback in NHL history, perhaps? Definitely international history, as they were down 3-0 in the finals to Team USA, rallied off 4 straight to get the comeback and beat them in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals and also capture the Stanley Cup. What a series by these two teams, man. I thought it was over. I was getting mad. I was going to have to announce that USA swept Canada, but luckily for Jordan Binnington, rocking a .944 save percentage, carried the Team Canada back in this series, rallying off 4 straight, which I did not think was even possible. But luckily we got that done, as the Stanley Cup will be presented to a new team, not Team USA, who honestly could have went 5 for 5 in this video if they dominated Canada in 4 games. I was convinced that they were not going to lose a single finals appearance of this video, and there it is. Sid the Kid Crosby coming to collect the Stanley Cup yet again, but for the first time for Team Canada, as we have just pulled off one of the biggest comebacks in hockey history. No surprise here, as Connor McDavid led the NHL in scoring, 11 goals, 24 points. Jack Eichel had 23, McKinnon 21, Cale Makar was up there again, big season in the regular year. Braden Point had 19, Matthews only 9 goals in 22 games. Dude fell off a cliff this season. Cale Makar is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, Hart Trophy, and the Norris, as the Maurice Richard will go to Connor McDavid. The Conn Smythe also will go to Jordan Binnington. The Vezina to Connor Hellebuyck, and the Selke will head to Sasha Barkov for the second second season in a row. At the end of year number 3, Canada will go on and dominate 79 wins, losing 2 in regulation and 1 in overtime, 159 points. Followed by Team USA, who won 76 games. Sweden was up there. Finland had a very good year, honestly. Czechia 67, Switzerland 64, and Team Germany 61. If we take a look at the bottom, Poland only won 9 games on the year. Connor McDavid is going to absolutely dominate the NHL, 74 goals and 153 points, followed by David Pastrnak, who had 141. Also McKinnon 141, Cale Makar 140, Barkov was insane, Matthews had a great year, Kyle Connor 127. And if we take a look at the goals here, Pasta is going to have 85 in 82 games. The dude was over goal per game in this simulation. Absolutely crazy at a 94 overall. Matthews had 79, McDavid 74, Draisaitl 60, Kyle Connor had 57, and Rope Hintz 56. Obviously, Makar is going to have the most goals at 44 and the most points at 140 by a D-man. Roman Josi had 114, and Quinn Hughes, a pretty decent season. 105 points by him, only 21 goals. For goalies, Hellebuyck's going to have the most wins at 62, followed by Binnington 60, Vejmelka 59, and Ullmark, who had 56. In Ullmark will dominate 24 shutouts, leading all goalies, followed by Binnington's 21, Hellebuyck 13, and Vejmelka 11. As here we go in the third season, can Canada go back-to-back? This is our playoff bracket, or will another team emerge like maybe Finland or Sweden and take home their first Stanley Cup of the video? And yet again in the finals, we have a rematch of last season between Canada and Team USA. Obviously, USA went up 3-0, but then absolutely folded 4 straight to Canada. Ended up losing that series in 7. Can they revenge or get their revenge? Or will Canada go back-to-back for the second straight season in a row? And the Americans are going to get the revenge over Canada, dominating them in 5 games in the finals. Probably what they should have done last season, but they allowed themselves to choke. But it doesn't matter, as they are going to win their second Stanley Cup of the video, second in 3 seasons, as they are led by guys like Joe Pavelski, who is the captain. And I mean, so far they have come out of the other conference every single time. So Finland is not even touching these guys. Maybe I should have thrown Sweden in there. Could have maybe more competitive matchups. As Matthews will put up 17 goals, 28 points, and take home the Conn Smythe. For also the second time in the videos, Team USA and that receding hairline will win their second Stanley Cup of the video. There it is, that beautiful cup that will be presented to the Edmonton Oilers this season. As I've called it from the beginning, I'm not hopping off of it yet, boys. Here comes Mr. America, or Captain America, I should say, Joe Pavelski, again for the second time in his career, raising the Stanley Cup as the Americans have won their second of the video. Austin Matthews in the playoffs is going to have the most goals at 17 and the most points at 28, followed by Jack Hughes, who at 27. Tkachuk was up there, had a good year. Makar and McDavid were the best players on Team Canada. McKinnon was good. Quinn Hughes and Kyle Connor. Cale Makar is going to take home the Ted Lindsay Hart Trophy and the Norris. Well, the Art Ross will go to McDavid, and Maurice Richard to David Pastrnak. Obviously, the Conn Smythe went to Matthews. Linus Ullmark the Vezina, and the Selke again to Alexander Barkov. Now at the end of season number 4, USA will dominate 78 wins. It seems like whoever wins the Stanley Cup the prior season goes on and be the President's Trophy winner the next season. 78 4-0, followed by Team Canada, who won 77 games. Sweden always up there, good in the regular season but not in the postseason, just like they are in the World Juniors. Czechia with 69 wins, Team Finland 67, Germany 58, and Switzerland 55. For the most goals for per game, it was Team USA with almost 6.5 goals a game, dominating their opponents. Canada almost 6, Sweden had 5.5. David Pastrnak is going to absolutely dominate, leading in goals with 98 in 82 games and also 158 points. This has to be the best season I've ever seen the computers simulate in this game. For a player that I've never touched like Pastrnak, still a 94. I did not do a single thing to him. And he's putting up 98 goals in this international league of hockey we have here. Cale Makar came in second place with 144. McDavid always going to be up there. Marty Necas had 135 on Czechia. Draisaitl 132. McKinnon 129. I'm willing to bet that Necas did play alongside Pastrnak. I mean, 106 assists. Now on the goal side, Pasta will dominate 98, McDavid at 78, Matthews 73, Draisaitl 68, and Kyle Connor with 54. As Cale Makar will dominate the D-man, 41 goals and 144 points. Shout out Quinn Hughes, having a 100-point season. Linus Ullmark will lead in wins with 65, followed by Binnington, who had 58, and Veg Melkus 56. And for shutouts, it will also go to Ullmark, who had 24. I mean, nobody really was even close. Binnington had 15, Hellebuck 11. Gartshag absolutely butchered that name, but he had 10 shutouts on the year for a European hockey club who had 41 wins. I thought these guys were not very good. Another year, another Stanley Cup playoff bracket that we have to look at. We almost all realize that Team USA and either Canada or Sweden will probably be in the finals unless there is a major upset. And yet again, for I believe the third season in a row, we have Canada versus USA in the Stanley Cup finals. Let's see who's going to go on. The series is 1-1. Who is going to break the tiebreaker and win their either second or third Stanley Cup of the entire video? And Team Canada will take home their second Stanley Cup of the video, tying Team USA, obviously breaking the tiebreaker in the finals, considering Canada won year number 1 last year, or actually it was year number 2 that they won. Year number 3, it was Team USA beating Canada, and now vice versa, as the Canadians are going to go on second Stanley Cup, tying Team USA. And now we have a pretty good battle for the final season of the video. USA and Canada tied up at 2 apiece. Who's going to take it home? Or will maybe a third party come out of the wins? Or out of the woods, maybe? I don't even know what I'm saying. Cale Makar, Conn Smythe winner, 5 goals, 30 points, a very good postseason run by him, as Team Canada are going to capture yet again another Stanley Cup. There it is, waiting to be presented. I mean, international level, Canada is used to a ton of winning, especially head-to-head, best on best. I mean, we haven't had the Olympics for a very long time, which is unfortunate. We do have the 4 international teams square off next season at the All-Star Weekend thing. I don't even know what's going on. Regardless, Crosby lifting the cup again as Team Canada gears up for the final season. And who's going to win their third Stanley Cup of the video? Now, obviously, Makar did take home the Conn Smythe. He had 30 points, only 5 goals, but a lot of assists he racked up. McDavid had 28, Stammer 24, Jake Gensel had 24, and Kyle Connor 23 alongside 12 goals. As Cale Makar will take home the Ted Lindsay Hart Trophy and the Norris, while the Art Ross and Maurice Richard will go to David Pastrnak. I don't know how he did not clean sweep on all the awards, considering on how good he was. The dude almost scored 100 goals in 82 games. Obviously, Makar won the Conn Smythe, the Vezina to Linus Ullmark, and the Selke again will go to Barkov. Now, at the end of the 5th and final season, Team USA will go on, win 79 games, be the best team in the regular season, but we all know it's probably going to be USA and Canada in the finals. Sweden won 74 games, Canada 76. Finland actually put up 70 wins on the season. I believe the first time they've done that in this video. Czechia was good, and Switzerland as well. Kyle Connor's going to lead everybody in scoring with 144 points, followed by McDavid, who had 142, as well as McKinnon. Tkachuk was up there with 140, Matthews 134. Rantanen had 125 and Draisaitl 123. Looking on the goal side, Matthews will lead with 75 tucks on the season, followed by Pasta 71. McDavid constantly has been scoring 70 goals. Kyle Connor 59, Hughes 59, and Jesper Bratt 57 on Sweden. I also did not know that Bratt was Swedish. Defensively, Makar is going to dominate, 43 goals, 123 points for the goalies. Linus Ullmark will tie UC Saros for the most wins by any goalie with 57. And for shutouts, it will also go to Linemark. It will also go to Linus Ullmark, who had 21, Connor Hellebuck 20, Binnington 20, UC Saros 18. And who is going to take home the Stanley Cup in the 5th and final season? And instead, in the Stanley Cup Finals, we have Team Sweden up against Team USA. Sweden actually swept Canada in the conference finals. What the hell is going on there? Regardless, USA can break the tiebreaker, winning their 3rd cup of the video, or will Team Sweden finally get it done in the biggest moment of their international hockey careers? And Team Sweden is going to pull off the heist of the century, upsetting the Americans in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals to finally go on and win their first Stanley Cup of the entire video. Sweden made it, of course, in year number 1, and they were unsuccessful, getting dominated by Team USA, but now they got the revenge. They were down 3-1 in this series, came back, forced a Game 7, and again, the Americans fall to a team that were down in the series. They choked away another Stanley Cup as Philip Forsberg going to win the Conn Smythe, 9 goals, 20 points. and an absolutely amazing mustache, as the Swedes will go on and finally get it done in the big moment. Obviously, the IIHF World Juniors, how many but round robin wins have they had without a single gold medal? Well, guess what, Sweden? That is over. The Stanley Cup, you guys have won it here in the final season, as Captain Erik Karlsson will finally get the job done, being able to raise the Stanley Cup for the first time in his career, as Team Sweden has gone all the way. Matthew Tkachuk is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, the Maurice Richard to Matthews, the Art Ross and Hart Trophy to Kyle Connor, the Norris will go to Quinn Hughes. So the Americans really dominated, but the Conn Smythe to Philip Forsberg, and also the Vezina to Linus Ullmark, as the Selke Trophy will go to Connor McDavid of Team Canada. And that is going to do it for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please leave some support. Now, obviously, we had Canada winning 2 Stanley Cups, USA winning 2, and then Team Sweden finally getting done in the final season. Overall, I thought the simulation went well. We did have a lot of Canada-USA finals matchups, but outside of that, I mean, the parity was there. Nobody even went back-to-back, I believe. Canada-USA tied, and Sweden got in there and got the revenge over their year 1 failure. So let me know in the comments below what you guys would like to see next. I would like to say thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.